78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That includes people making six figures, high income, zero wealth. And here's the part that should terrify you. Most of them think they are doing fine. They have the car, they have the house, they have the vacation photos, but strip away the credit and the lifestyle, and what is left is nothing. Control, that is what separates the rich from everyone pretending to be rich. And if you do not understand the psychology behind it, you will spend your entire life working for money instead of making money work for you. By the end of this, you will know exactly how the wealthy think about money without needing a finance degree or a trust fund. But here's the part nobody tells you. You were taught that money is the goal. Work hard, save up, retire at 65. That's the script, and it's a lie. Because the goal was never money, it was control. Machiavelli wrote that men are driven by two main motives, fear and love. And when it comes to money, most people operate entirely out of fear. Fear of not having enough, fear of losing status, fear of being left behind. So they chase the salary, they take the promotion, they finance the lifestyle, and they call it success. But here's what they miss. Income is not power, control is. You can make $200,000 a year and still be completely powerless if every dollar is already spoken for before it hits your account. Mortgage, car payment, student loans, daycare, subscriptions, dinners, trips. All of it feeding a system that keeps you running in place. Machiavelli warned about this centuries ago. He said it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. The same applies to money. It is better to control your money than to love spending it, because the moment you lose control, you lose everything. Income is not power. Control is. I learned this the hard way. I was 26, making $75,000 a year, living in a one-bedroom apartment that cost $2,000 a month because that's what everyone said you should spend. I had the right job, the right zip code, the right image, and I was broke. Not obviously broke, but the kind of broke where one unexpected expense would ruin me. I remember sitting in my car after work one night, staring at my bank account and realizing I had built a life I could not afford to leave. That's when Machiavelli started making sense to me, not as philosophy, but as survival. And if this makes you uncomfortable, that's a good sign. John D. Rockefeller was not born rich. He worked as an assistant bookkeeper, making 50 cents a day. But he understood something most people never learned. He did not see money as something to spend. He saw it as a tool for control. When he was 20, he started investing every dollar he saved into ventures he could control. Oil refineries, railroads, distribution networks. He didn't buy things, he bought leverage. And by the time he was 38, he controlled 90% of the oil in America. Not because he made the most money, but because he controlled where the money went. That's not luck. That's strategy. Strategy 1. Money is a virus, and debt is the host. Start by seeing debt for what it actually is. Not a tool, not a bridge, a parasite. It doesn't help you build, it keeps you captive. Picture your income as a stream of electricity. Every dollar of debt is a resistor in the circuit, draining power before it reaches anything useful. Credit cards, car loans, student loans, even your mortgage, all of them siphoning energy from your future self and handing it to someone else. Here's the mechanism. Every month you send a payment. A chunk goes to interest. That's money you'll never see again. It doesn't build equity. It doesn't buy freedom.
It buys time for the lender. And while you're paying it off, you can't invest, you can't build, you can't say no to the job you hate. You're bound. The outcome is not just financial, it's psychological. Debt trains you to think short-term, to prioritize the payment over the plan. And the longer you carry it, the more normal it feels, until one day you can't imagine life without it. Cut the parasite. Stop financing your life. Pay down every dollar of high-interest debt like your future depends on it, because it does. Then move to the next strategy. Strategy 2. Your lifestyle is a weighted vest you can't take off. Lifestyle inflation is not accidental, it's designed. You get the raise, you move to the bigger place, you upgrade the car, you add the subscription, you eat out more, you travel more, and suddenly the extra $2,000 a month is gone before you even notice it. This is not wealth. This is a trap. Imagine your lifestyle as a weighted vest. Every new expense adds another plate. At first, it feels manageable. You're stronger now. You can handle it. But here's what happens. You never take the plates off. You just keep adding. And eventually, the weight becomes so familiar, you forget you're carrying it. That's when you lose. The mechanism is simple. The more you spend, the more you need to earn just to stay in place. And the more you need to earn, the less freedom you have to choose. You can't leave the job. You can't take the risk. You can't say no. The outcome is a life you can't afford to change. Lock your lifestyle. Pick a number. Whatever you're spending now, freeze it. Then every raise, every bonus, every unexpected dollar goes somewhere else. Not into the vest, into the foundation. Then move to the next strategy. Strategy 3. Wealth is not built in the open, it's built in silence. The people who talk about money don't have it. The people who have it don't talk. This is one of the clearest patterns you'll ever see. Wealth is quiet. Poverty is loud. Think of silence as armor. The less people know about your financial position, the less leverage they have over you. No one can guilt you into spending. No one can compare. No one can judge. You move in silence and you move fast. Here's the mechanism. Every time you broadcast your financial life, you invite pressure. Family wants help. Friends want to keep up. Strangers want to sell you something, and all of it pulls you off course. The outcome is that you protect your decision-making, you protect your goals, you protect your future. Stop posting, stop comparing, stop explaining. Build in silence and let the results speak years from now. Then move to the next strategy. Strategy 4. The first 100,000 is a psychological wall most people never cross. Charlie Munger said the first 100,000 is a bitch. He was right. Not because of the math, but because of the mind. Most people quit before they hit it. Why? Because progress feels invisible. You save $500 a month. 12 months later, you have 6,000. It feels like nothing. You're not traveling, you're not upgrading, you're not impressing anyone. And that's exactly the point. Imagine the first 100,000 as a threshold. On one side, you're powerless. Your money does nothing. On the other side, it starts working for you. Compound interest kicks in. Opportunities open. Your psychology shifts. Here's the mechanism. Below 100,000, every financial decision feels like a trade-off. Above 100,000, you start to see momentum. The account grows faster. You feel the weight shift. And once you cross it, you stop thinking like someone who needs money and start thinking like someone who controls it. The outcome is freedom, not from work, but from desperation. Sacrifice now. Live below your means. Automate your savings. Hit 100,000 as fast as possible. Then move to the next strategy.
Strategy 2. Understand the dealer's incentive structure. They do not make money selling you a car. They make money selling you a loan. The average dealer profit on a new car sale is $1,200. The average dealer profit on financing that same car is $2,500, more than double. That's why they push the monthly payment, not the total price. They'll ask what you can afford per month, not what you want to pay total. Because once they know your monthly limit, they can stretch the loan term to fit any price into that number. You say you can afford $400 a month, they'll sell you a $30,000 car on a 72-month loan instead of a $20,000 car on a 48-month loan. Same payment, different trap. You're not negotiating the car, you're negotiating the cage. The dealer's job is to make the payment feel small. Your job is to see the total, not the monthly. The total, always the total. Strategy 3. Realize the car is not the asset, the cash flow is. Most people think ownership is the goal. Pay off the car and you own it. But by the time you pay it off, it's worth 30% of what you paid. You spent $30,000, it's worth $9,000. You didn't build equity, you bought depreciation on a payment plan. The real asset is the $650 per month you're no longer sending to the bank. That's $7,800 a year in cash flow you now control. But here's what most people do. They pay off the car and immediately feel like they have extra money, so they upgrade. New car, new payment. They never capture the cash flow. Machiavelli wrote that the prince who cannot hold his gains will lose them to the next contender. If you pay off a car and immediately finance another, you never held anything, you reset. The system wants you to reset, because the moment you own something outright, you stop paying, and they can't have that. Strategy 4. Buy used, pay cash, drive it until the wheels fall off. The average new car loses 20% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. In the first year, it loses 30%. By year 3, it's lost 50%. You're not buying a car, you're buying a depreciating liability and paying interest on top of the loss. A 3-year-old car has already absorbed the worst of the depreciation. You're buying it at 50 cents on the dollar. Same car, half the cost. And if you pay cash, there's no interest, no monthly payment, no transfer of wealth. You own it day one. Most people will say they don't have the cash. That's because they've been making payments their whole life. They've never accumulated cash because every dollar goes out the door before it can stack. Break the cycle. Save $6,000, buy a used Toyota Camry, drive it for 8 years. That's $750 per year, $62 per month, not $650, $62. The difference is $588 a month you now control. That's the gap between broke and building. Strategy 5. Treat your car like a tool, not a signal. Most people buy cars to communicate status, success, stability. They want the neighbors to see the brand, the coworkers to notice the year, the family to feel proud. But the car doesn't signal wealth, it signals cash flow allocation. When someone pulls up in a $60,000 SUV, they're not showing you they have money, they're showing you they're spending it. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved, but it is better still to be underestimated." The person driving the 10-year-old sedan with no payment might have $300,000 in index funds. The person in the brand new lease might have $19 in checking. You can't tell wealth by looking at the car, you can only tell spending. And spending is not wealth, it's the opposite. Your car's job is to move you from point A to point B. If it does that reliably, it's doing its job. Everything else is decoration, and decoration costs. Stop decorating, start building. Strategy 6. Run the real numbers before you finance anything. Most people never calculate the total cost of the loan. They see the monthly payment and sign, but the payment is not the cost. Here's the formula. Principal plus interest plus insurance plus maintenance plus depreciation. That's the real cost. Let's run it. $30,000 car, financed at 6% over 60 months. Monthly payment is $580. That's $34,800 over 5 years. You just paid $4,800 in interest. Add full coverage insurance, $150 per month. That's $9,000 over 5 years. Add maintenance, oil changes, tires, brakes, $50 per month, $3,000 over 5 years. Add depreciation. Car is now worth $15,000. You lost $15,000 in value. Total real cost, $34,800 in payments, plus $9,000 insurance, plus $3,000 maintenance, plus $15,000 depreciation. That's $61,800 for a car you financed at $30,000. You didn't buy a car, you bought a black hole.